Hi, you guys, and I'm so glad that you guys are here with me tonight for our class. I don't know about you, but when I used to, I'm going to say before doTERRA, when I used to go to the grocery store, it seemed like it was about maybe once a month or maybe every other month when I either had to buy meat products or cleaning products, and I would hate doing it because I was spending so much money on cleaners and everything from window cleaner to soft scrubs and bleach and laundry detergent. It seems like it would all run out at the very same time. And what I have found is it is one of those things that I had no idea. Two things. Number one, how much of those products are just made of water. And then, of course, it's got all kinds of chemicals and synthetics and things like that in there. And then how much of it was just so bad for us in our environment.
Mm,
So recently we were able to go to a convention where we got to hear from one of my favorite speakers, Lauren Bush, and she was talking about how she was a respiratory emergency nurse for a long time and just the different struggles and things that she had with her daughter. And she was the person who said, "Oh, I know all about, chemicals. I'm a nurse. What can essential oils do for me?" And at the same time, she was spraying, her mattresses would spray to make them smell better. And, on the carpet. And when people would walk in before they would come over, she would have spray that she would put in the air and, scented plug-ins in the walls and everything you could possibly do to make things smell better. And she had no idea that it was those exact things that were causing havoc to her little 3-year-old daughter. Now it got to the point where it was super scary because even as a respiratory nurse, this little girl had been into the emergency room multiple times. And this time the doctor said, "Look, if something doesn't change, we're going to have to do a tracheotomy on her next time." And I think at that point, she said, "That's it. Like, there's got to be another answer for this. I cannot put my daughter through that. I will not put my daughter through that." So she got into really looking at what can I do differently. Well, she had remembered that a friend had talked to her once about, "Are you open to trying something natural?" And she kind of poo pooed her and kind of laughed at her. And so finally, what happened is she said, "Okay," she went back to her and she said, "Okay, tell me what you've got. Like, I am ready to listen. Something, I need to do something different." So, you guys, as we look at this screen here, I want you to see and I want you to think about all of the different products that you may or may not have in your house. So, I've been doing this thing for quite a while, and I remember in my first year of doing doTERRA, and I'm a business owner, so I was that person who was selling highly scented cosmetics, highly scented bath and body products, highly scented candles, and that was my goal. Well, as I became more educated on how many toxic things are inside of them, now fast forward, 10 years, and we really look only for clean ingredients and clean products. Now you can see here on the right hand side of the screen, this should all scare us as we're looking at all of the different products that are full of toxic chemicals and things that are really hard for us. And the worst part, you guys, is that some of the um, people who are supposed to be watching for us to make sure we have good products are actually the ones that are letting some of them slip through, and they're not updating any of the regulations. They're not following any of those things. Okay, so this screen here is a really good one because I love how, it's an awareness of what's really actually in our bodies. Now, you can look at things like plastic containers. When a plastic container gets hot, those petrochemicals and things get into the liquid, whether it's a bottle of water, whether it's a bottle of cleaner, or different things. Now, 9 out of 10 Americans have PBA inside their bodies. And you guys, we're getting them another training that we went to. They were talking about a credit card size of plastic is something that we're ingesting as humans just in our food. And when we have some of these things, it's a wonder that people are walking around with headaches, body aches, respiratory issues. You can see on here, asthma is 2 times higher in people since 1980, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And not only that, but it takes a couple of generations for some of those things to come out. So you may say, well, my grandma's, and I'm not I'm going to talk about smoking for a second, and they'll say, I don't know what happened. My grandma didn't smoke a day in her life, and she did smoke every day, like a cigarette every day, and she didn't die of cancer. She didn't have any lung problems. She didn't have any of these things that were going on in our bodies, or any of these diseases or illnesses that are happening. But 2 or 3 generations down, they're coming out. And I would just also want to talk really quick here about our food and the different things that we're exposed to, and the things that I think it's like a cup of spinach. When I was young, long time ago, I could eat a cup of spinach that came out of the garden. There weren't chemicals, there weren't pesticides, there weren't GMOs. They weren't planting, things around the seeds to keep them from growing weeds. And it's, years of those types of things that are causing everything from, birth defects, fertility problems, asthma. Again, when I was a little girl, I hardly knew anyone who had any kind of major diseases in their body. And now it's pretty much hard to look at one in a room and have somebody that's not affected. So you guys, some of the things we're going to talk about tonight are to help us to just be more aware of some of those toxic things that are around us that we may or may not even think about. And I'm going to talk relationships also, because have you ever been around somebody that when you run into them, you're all happy and joyful, and by the time you're done with a conversation, you feel like you need to go take a shower? Those things, you guys, those emotions store in our bodies and in our cells too. So not only are we looking at the things that are around us, but we're also needing to look at the things, our emotions, different chemicals and stuff like that. So everything that we eat, what we breathe, the products that we bring into our home, anything that's going onto our skin is going into our organs. And so as we become more aware, then there are a few things that we can do. Now, I come from the place where I'm going, okay, I'm never going to stop dyeing my hair. I will always wear makeup, but I have given up so many other things. You guys, I can't tell you the last time that I used a dryer sheet. I can't tell you the last time that I went to the grocery store and bought any kind of cleaner for any kind of thing. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I just don't use any of them. We make all of ours from scratch, which is so easy. It's less expensive, and I love it that there's no effects to us. So, and you guys, it does matter if we're looking for, more natural products, skincare, hair care, dyes. I've completely stopped wearing any kind of perfume, and now I'm making my own perfume with doTERRA and essential oils. Now, do you or anyone experience dizziness? A common one is brain fog. Like, people are like, oh, I forgot what I was doing again. Now, as we're getting older, some of those things are going to happen. But what about infertility? People are having a harder time today than they ever have before in getting pregnant. And, I have a friend whose daughter has spent thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to get pregnant. And her body has just been filled full of all kinds of different things, which then are side effects. Weakened immunity. So sometimes we'll talk about that, back to that stressful environment of healthy relationships. When people say, and I'm going to use the air quotes, that time of year when people get sick, really what happens around that time of year? So I'm going to go to the holidays, especially winter holidays. Okay, we're gathering around a bunch of people that we may or may not like. We are, people are scenting things with all kinds of extra candles. We've closed all the windows. The scent of Christmas, cinnamon, pine, all that stuff is everywhere. And we're, eating a bunch of junk, like we're eating more sugar and things like that. And then we're blaming it on that time of year. But really what we're doing is we're attacking our own immunity and exposing ourselves to a lot more toxins and chemicals. So what can we do? So the main thing is just the awareness of what's in my environment. Like, do I have a lot of scented products? Do I use the plug in the wall things? And so sometimes when I'm talking about essential oils, especially say lavender. And this time of year, I'm using lavender, lemon, and peppermint for allergies or for seasonal threats, or, I'm working in my yard and no matter what I do, there's pollen. And so because I'm aware of that, I'm able to use things like lavender, lemon, and peppermint to, really address that. Now, when people say, oh, all oils are the same, all of the things are the same, you're being silly about this. And have I never ever, or would I ever, take a lavender candle or a lavender plug-in and expect to get any kind of a result for my allergies? How about you guys? Room fresheners, self-care products, and sometimes it could seem like a big job to go, okay, well, if I'm going to need to really make a list of all the things in our household that are synthetically made or chemically made, what are some of the side effects that we're getting? It could get a little overwhelming. So I want you to focus on one area or one room in your house at a time. So maybe it's something just as small as your makeup counter or your perfumes or your body sprays or the scented lotions or the scented soap that you have in your shower. Is what are some of the things that we can do to replace or find something better? A laundry room is also another really great place because, everything from highly scented laundry detergent. How many of you guys have seen the commercials where it's like, put this extra pot in your washer and your clothes are never going to stop smelling like fresh whatever. And it's like, gosh, what is in that to have something like that last forever? So just, this awareness, and I'm going to give you some recipes and tips on how we can do that. So I want you, here's a great one to look at. So ditch and switch or this or that. So as I'm looking at different things, candles was a big one for me. Like it was more of I'm going to do some self-care tonight. I'm going to take a nice hot soak. I'm going to light my favorite candle. And then when I get out of the tub, I'm going to put that really highly scented lotion on. Well, the first thing that I could ditch and switch would be my candle. You guys, there are some really good ones out there, but read the ingredients and look at all the details of what's in there. If something has numbers behind it or you can't read the ingredients, I love like a real nice coconut oil candle. We have one that when you melt it, you can actually use it as a massage oil. It's pure. So those are some of the things that you're going to be looking at. But instead of a candle altogether, what about a diffuser? How many of you guys diffuse on a regular basis? Like every room, right? Diane and Leslie and Sarah, it's like, yeah, we got these types of things in every room. We have them in our cars. We have them in the walls. One of the ones I love the most is the mist diffuser. It's a plug in the wall one. It doesn't take any water. You just simply take the bottle of oil, take the lid off, put it onto this little device, and you plug it in the wall and you push go. And then you can set it to go often or a little at a time. You guys, that's a limited time product. So depending on when you're watching this replay, it may or may not be available. But diffusing, you guys, we can eliminate odors. I love, when my husband's cooking salmon or something in the kitchen, I can have my diffuser going with lemon or purify. And it really does get that scent of fish out of the house. And it gets on all of the surfaces, which also adds an added benefit. Okay, now we're looking at like scented soaps or scented lotions. You guys, if you've not tried doTERRA's foaming hand wash, you're missing out. It's amazing. I love it. My husband loves it. As a matter of fact, he had me order a lot of the extra ones, and he has it in his bathrooms at work. He actually has one at the front counter when people walk in, because one thing that people don't understand about our foaming hand wash is you don't have to rinse it off. So if you're traveling, you're camping, you're hiking, you're doing all of these, maybe a swimming pool or at the beach, or if you're winter time, you can just put this on your hands and you know that all those surfaces that you're touching, your hands are protected and so are you. And I love it because it's safe and non-toxic for our bodies. Now we also have, in the same line, we have an unscented lotion, which again, depending on when you're watching this, right now it's spring and summer. So I love taking our unscented lotion and I can customize it for what I need. It's free of all of the, sulfates and all the different things. The synthetic fragrance is what I love, is we can customize it for what we want. So I'll take some and I'll squirt it into a little jar and then I add the oil that I want. So for my dog, I love using TerraShield. You guys, have you looked at the ingredients and the side effects or done any research on what off or I think it's just off, I can't remember the other brands, of what they do to our bodies, to our respiratory system, to our pets? And here we are spraying it on our little kids, and we're having it go straight on their skin, and then it goes into their system. And if we could replace that with something that is non-toxic, like an unscented lotion, or you could put our castor oil or fractionated coconut oil, and just put a little bit of that TerraShield in there and just apply it, and you know that it's not going to cause any of those effects. Okay, so we also have a bunch of essential oils for cleaning. So when I was talking about, this, the time when I would go to the store and buy my cleaning supplies was always the worst because it was always very expensive. You guys, I can tell you that most of these essential oils are pennies per the drop. Most of the ingredient is water-based, right? There's a lot of water. And then you can add a few little things like vinegar. Vinegar is one of my favorite things for cleaning. And I also use a vodka. And I know you guys don't judge, because vodka is a agent that you can add to your cleaning products that helps so that it will evaporate and it doesn't stay on the surface. It's really, really great. It doesn't have the scent like vinegar does. And so on my household cleaner, which I'll share the recipe with you guys in just a second, I always use vodka instead of vinegar. Now, the other thing with buying those products is I get the cheapest that I can. It's not some kind of the quality is better type thing. It's going to give you the benefits of just having something really cheap. Okay, so on the left-hand side, I'm going to just kind of go over a few of these essential oils, how we use them for our household, and what you can use. So On Guard. On Guard is a must-have for all kinds of reasons. Not only is it going to help to support your immunity, but it's going to protect the areas that it's going on in the surface. So whether you're diffusing it or you're putting it in your laundry, I add it to my all-purpose cleaner for sure. This is a must-have. Now, between the citrus oils, what the citrus does is it helps to cut down grease and buildup. And so whether you like tangerine or you like lemon better, now you'll find that some are a little bit more effective in some of their scents and things, but you really can't go wrong. Each one, like I said, has a different way that it gets rid of different odors, and a very powerful cleaner. Now, Purify, I want to really point this one out. This one is a must-have in your showers, your bathrooms, anywhere that mold or mildew could gather, and you want to be able to get rid of that. So recently I had a friend who she had a dog he kept having respiratory issues. So he kept taking her to the vet, and she's like, I don't know what's wrong, and you've got to do something, and the vet's going, I can't find anything wrong with your dog, but we're going to keep giving it these allergy medications basically. And so she came to me and she was asking if it was safe for her to diffuse Purify. And I was asking her more questions. And I'm like, well, tell me more about what's going on. And she said, we've got a bathroom that we leave our dog in during the day while we're gone. And I think there's mold in the windowsills. Well, you guys, as long as that mold is growing there and there, not only is a family exposed to it, but this little pet was exposed to it all day, and so was having all these respiratory issues. So she was able to start diffusing Purify in that bathroom, and the pet was able to be in there without any kind of side effects. I also, Purify here's a kind of a strange story. So years ago, somebody had lost their life in a house, and it was a few days before they found them. Well, when the family came to find them, you can only imagine what the scent and the smell was. And they're like, Haley, is there anything? And of course, it's like, lemon and vinegar and baking soda and all these things. But what I had them do is take Purify, a little extra lemon, and On Guard, and they diffused 24 hours a day, 7 days, for 24 hours a day for 3 days straight. And they had 4 of our Dawn diffusers in their house, and they just let them just go. And then they were able to go in and start cleaning out the house and doing different things. They also took that same combination with the On Guard all-purpose cleaner. They added purified lemon and made it, a surface wash where they were wiping up and down all the walls and things like that. I've also seen where there's been a fire in an area. They've been able to use that same recipe to get rid of the smoke smell. And that smoke smell is really hard to get out of, especially if you have wood panel walls or, fabric curtains and things. So it's been very, very effective. Okay, on the right-hand side of the screen, we have Abode. So many of you guys hopefully are familiar with On Guard and how it really helps to protect us from all of the outside environments. Well, Abode was formulated a few years ago for our home. And so this one has other essential oils, like it has thyme, it has lime, it has essential oils that are really made more for the home environments, like your laundry, your patio furniture. So I love it because they have a concentrated cleaner. This is pictured as the essential oil. And you guys, just so you know, anytime you see a 15 ml bottle, you have 250 drops. Back to the price per drop is when we're making household cleaners or sprays or window cleaners or our own soft scrub, we're talking clean ingredients like a cup of baking soda and a little bit of On Guard concentrate, and then you can add other essential oils to your recipe as you want to have different scents. So I told you I would share my all-purpose cleaner. You guys, I've been using this cleaner in my house for, I'm going to say at least 10 or 12 years. I can't remember exactly how much it cost, but for a 32-ounce bottle, I know it's less than $4. And I have 3 of them in my house. I have one that stays in the kitchen. I have one that stays in my bathroom, and then I have one that goes in our cleaning closet. And they last me for at least 2 or 3 months. And you can kind of customize the scent according to what you want, but here you have that lemon, which is that natural degreaser. So what I love about lemon is if you have gum that gets stuck in your hair, there's very few things that can really get it out. I think people will take ice and put it on there, or maybe I've heard of peanut butter, I think. But this lemon, you guys, you just put it right on the gum and it will just soften it and help it to go away. Lemon also will take magic marker off of a wall and you don't have to worry about repainting and things like that. I've also seen where lemon will take fingernail polish off of a fingernail. Okay, now I'm going to have you guys stop for just a second, take a deep breath, because if you're thinking, well, if it's doing that to this wall and to my fingernail polish, what the heck is it doing to the inside of my body? Now, I want to remind you that when we have a lemon and you peel it open and you have that really fresh scent that comes off the rind, that is exactly where our oil comes from. You can drop lemon oil from the rind. You can peel as many lemons as you want. It's not going to eat your skin. It's not going to harm you on the inside because it's 100% natural. It is meant to break down petrochemicals. Okay, now we have that Purify, which neutralizes and gets rid of odors. I already talked about how it's very effective on mold and mildew and fungus. So this one is really great. So you can see what I have it in this all-purpose cleaner is I use this cleaner in every room in my house, from my bathtub, my shower, the toilets, the kitchen counters. The only thing I don't use it on is my stainless steel, glass or mirrors, and that's mainly because it does, like it would smear a little bit. I like lemon and vinegar and water for all of those things. And it smells, you guys, it smells really, really, really good. Okay, here's a hack for this is when I get back from the grocery store and I have all my produce and my vegetables, I throw them in my sink. I fill it with water. First I put the fruits and vegetables in the sink. I spray them with this all-purpose cleaner. Then I fill the sink up with water and I let them sit there and soak. You guys cannot believe how dirty and gross the water is after it sat there. I don't do that with my berries. I do my berries separate because I don't want the other produce to smash them. But have you guys ever picked up an apple and felt the grease residue on it or the wax on it? You guys, it really needs to be cleaned. And one of the things that we notice on our Zytoscan is a lot of times people will have, residues and plastics and things that their scan is out of control for. And they're going, well, wait, I only eat organic. And I'm like, how good are you cleaning your products? We did a family gathering and I scanned everybody and we all came up with the same red flags. And it was all based on, we were buying the pre-made salads that were pre-washed, and that's the only thing that we had, but yet we were all getting exposed to chemicals. So that no longer is happening. Okay, on the right hand side, you guys, or right here in the middle kind of, that is the all-purpose cleaner. Gosh, if you guys don't have it, you've got to get it, because you can make 16 spray bottles with just that ingredients and water. And so this is something you could use on, any outdoor furniture. You could use it on wrestling mats. You could use it on any kind of gym equipment, cleaning the inside of your car. I mean, the sky is the limit for how you can use this product. And I'm going to show you, we've got some more recipes coming up. Here's a hack real quick on our hand wipes. So how many of you guys like wet wipes? And so I go to the dollar store and I find a container that will hold a roll of toilet paper, or not toilet paper, these are paper towels, and then I have the lid. You can find them and have like a little pop-up where you can just pull one out at a time. And what I do is I take my paper towel and I cut it in half, and then I will make this mixture and I put it in that container and I shut the lid, and then it goes in through all of the paper towels, and then you can just have them. You guys, they're easy. They're great for camping. They're great for the park. They're great for the beach. And they're great for just keeping in your car. And you don't have to worry about any kind of chemicals and things like that. Now, if you have little ones and you're worried about, making sure, because it's, gosh, On Guard has cinnamon, clove, rosemary. It's got some of those more spicy oils. So if you've got littles, you guys, you could always just take lavender, or you could put lemon, lavender, and peppermint for seasonal threats, right? You could keep those, and like I've got a Doberman, and this time of year, he gets allergies too. So I could take one of these little wipes and just wipe down his face. Or we also take him out running all the time, and there's a lot of sagebrush. So if I made some of these and I put TerraShield in there, then I would be able to help prevent those ticks from getting on him. And so you guys, it's all about customizing these items for what you need for just pennies on the dollar. Okay, so here we're going to dig a little bit deeper into Abode. On the right hand side, it shows you they've got a dishwashing soap, they've got dishwasher pods, laundry pods, a concentrated cleaner, and then here on the left is all of the different products that are in there and why it's so effective. So lemon eucalyptus, if you've not smelled it, it's not like eucalyptus at all. It's more like citronella, but it's really great, very effective. Tea tree, which is great for any kind of surface, plus is great for the air. Lime, lavulin, arborvitae is another really great one. You guys, it's amazing. And then they also have a foaming hand wash, which is Citrus Bliss scent. How many of you guys love, or no, not Citrus Bliss, Citrus Bloom scent. And they have this little refill for it. It's more, when I smell Citrus Bloom, you guys, it's like walking into a flower shop with a little bit of citrus squeeze on there. And it's really, really great, especially this time of year. And if you're somebody that's like me, seasonally, I like different scents in my home. Another reason that I love being able to have the flexibility of all of our essential oils. Okay, and they do have products where you can, pour the refills into these. I love them. These all sit on my counter, and they're really great. Here's a couple of other ways, like grapefruit, you guys. Grapefruit is so effective in breaking down different petrochemicals, different grease and things like that. So when I first started with doTERRA, I was at a class and they had taken a styrofoam cup. They flipped it up over on its upside right or wrong, and they dropped a drop of lemon on one, then they dropped a drop of grapefruit on the other. And while we were sitting there talking and they were telling us about all these benefits, it was dissolving the styrofoam cup. And again, I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is it doing to me if it's doing this to that? And I want to remind you guys that it's a natural thing. It breaks down that grease and that chemicals. And so sometimes when we're using the essential oils internally, I love it because when I talked about that credit card size of plastic that we eat, well, it gets in our cells and it gums things up, and it keeps us from being able to have a clear mind, or maybe it's giving us headaches and things. So we really do need to get rid of the stuff and those toxins, and those citrus oils really help. Now, this one you guys might want to take a screenshot of because we're not going to go through each one. Let's see, I'm just going to pick on one or two. Let's see. Okay, soft scrub bathroom cleaner. How much easier does it get than 3/4 of a cup of baking soda, a fourth a cup of unscented liquid Castile soap, a tablespoon of water, a tablespoon of vinegar, and 5 to 10 drops of lemon oil. Now, you guys, I kind of have a hack on this where I just take baking soda and I throw that On Guard concentrated cleaner in a bowl, and I just stir it up until it's the paste that I want, like you would for soft scrub. I keep it in a sealed container. Again, go to Walmart, wherever. I use glass containers because I'm weird that way, but whatever you choose. And then it's ready, and I'll keep it in my cleaning closet, and all I got to do is, get a bunch of it out. It cleans so, so good. I know we have, like, the toilet cleaning pot is another really great one. A DIY mattress cleaner. So about 3 times a year, I, take my mattresses and I flip them over. And every time I do, I'll take baking soda. And I have a really cool container, kind of like a Parmesan cheese container. So it has the bigger holes on the top. And I just put that baking soda in there. I put the essential oil in it. I cover it and I shake it up really good. You guys, and I just sprinkle it on my mattress. Or I'll also, when we had a puppy and he would have accidents, I would take that same thing and I would sprinkle it on those spots where he had went potty. Number one, because I don't want him to go back there and have any of his scent there, right? And I would use the Purify and lemon, or sometimes I would use grapefruit. Tea tree is another really great one. All right, so let's go to the next page. And here we go. There's even more. Oh, wait, maybe this is repeat. Oh, we've got some new ones on here. We've got a wood polish. You guys, so simple as a fourth of a cup of olive oil, a half of a cup of vinegar, and then 10 drops of, I'm going to say your favorite essential oils. But when you walk down the cleaning aisle at the grocery store, they either have lemon or wild orange or lavender. So there's a reason that they picked those, is because they're so effective in, breaking down any kind of buildup that might be on the furniture or something like that. Another one that I love, especially for wood, like whether it's wood furniture or sometimes I'll put it in my cleaner for my floors that we polish, is I use Arbor Vitae. And the reason that I add Arbor Vitae to it is it helps to repel bugs. Cedar wood would be another really great one, right? If you're cleaning around your house and, with the seasons changing, depending on where you live, little creepy crawlers are coming out. So as I'm adding different oils to my products right now, I am mindful of peppermint because spiders and mice hate peppermints. I'm using things like Arbor Vitae, cedar wood, and I'm still adding in the citrus oil because it's got its benefits too. Okay, here's a couple more recipes that I absolutely love. So this is more of the recipe that I was telling you about for the natural soft scrub and a window cleaner. So how many of you guys clean your own windows? Like I've started cleaning my windows at my store, and I've started doing them at home because it's so easy, especially when you have good product. Now in a 16-ounce bottle of water, in a glass spray bottle, you've got a fourth of a cup of vinegar or vodka, your 10 drops of lemon oil, and this is where a citrus oil for your windows or for your mirrors are going to be very beneficial because it's going to keep it that real nice, crisp clean. Now, when you're using water, it is important, you guys, to use distilled water when you're cleaning your windows. It keeps them from having any kind of buildup from the minerals in your tap water, and it's a huge difference, so it's worth the investment. Okay, I got to tell you about this because a lot of the recipes that we talked about here tonight are in our Good Vibes Essential Recipe book. Many of you guys that are here tonight have recipes in this book. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recipes, and they go everywhere from, around the house to for him, for her, for kids, for pets. And there's a section that is dedicated to cleaning, and so whether it's your indoors or outdoors. And I'm just going to mention that when we have our natural cleaning products and they're stored, in the cleaning cabinet or under the sinks, we don't have to worry about if our dogs get into it or if our little baby, I've got a new little grandbaby, and there's nothing that I want in my house that would hurt her. And I know that I can clean anything that she's touched or anywhere she's crawling, and I don't have to worry about nasty chemicals. Now back to that all-purpose spray. One of the things that I love the most about it, well, I have a lot of things I love about it, but another thing that I love about it is if she's got all of her toys laying on in a basket or something, and she's been sick, or maybe somebody else comes over to play and they're sick, I don't have to take all of those and run them through the dishwasher or run them through the washing machine. I can take that all purpose cleaner and spray them. It'll dry really nice, but it's got On Guard and different things in it that will kill all of the germs that have been exposed. And so, you guys, I love that we have something that everyone can use. And this recipe book is filled with all kinds of those things. Okay, I want to talk really quick about my favorite way to order these products. If you're new here or if you're just watching and learning, I want to invite you to reach out to the person who invited you here and let them walk you through and help you get the very best benefits for your membership. Once you get the products at wholesale, then you have the opportunity to get them below wholesale, and that is through our rewards program. When you buy through our rewards program, you can earn anywhere from 10 to 30% back for every dollar that you spend. You can also get those free points and turn them in for product anytime. It's like having a cash bank account. Now, back to the grocery store and the worst time that I used to have, spending all that money for cleaning products, right? It was so hard, especially because we were on a huge budget. And now you can take your products, and when you're making them from home and you're saving money, you're also able to turn those points in to get even more products. So it's a win-win. And I love that you can change everything about your rewards order every single month. It is the best way to purchase. Okay, I'm going to actually. So I got on some phone calls today, and I didn't quite get through my editing my whole presentation, but I want to open up to conversations. If anyone here has any ideas or recipes or things that they've experienced with toxic chemicals in your household or shopping, we're here to answer your questions, you guys. Okay, Diane?
I just want to say that I don't know about you, but I know my daughter is very sensitive to those chemicals, the smell of them and breathing it in. And by switching to all of these, it's just been a game changer. How many of you have been in your bathroom and spraying whatever back, before doTERRA and just smelling those toxic fumes? And just, yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Because whatever we're breathing in is going into us.
It's so true, and I'm sure you guys have experienced walking into a department store and smelling all the perfumes. And, sometimes people will say, "Oh my gosh, I've got the worst headache because of the smells." And I also can testify that, being somebody who has suffered from debilitating allergies, that does not happen with scents from that are pure, that
Right.
are
The other thing,
unadulterated.
yeah. The other thing too is that I don't have to wear gloves anymore.
Mm.
No, my hands are not hypersensitive to doTERRA. So
Yeah.
anyway, just want to bring those two things up.
I love it, Diane. Thank you so much. I remember as a small child, I was on a swimming team, and the swimming pools were highly chlorinated. And then now, fast forward as an adult, I can walk down the cleaning aisle or walk into like a store that supplies, chlorine tablets and things like that. My body physically hurts. And I know it's from the damage from when I was younger. Okay, Sarah?
So I've cleaned houses. I've actually had a cleaning business since I was 13 years old. And I'll never forget cleaning houses with bleach and Windex and all of the things because that's all, I was taught to do. And I could taste it, even with my latex gloves on. I could taste it. And then fast forward to when I got married, I'm still cleaning houses. And Luke knew what houses I was cleaning with Clorox or the soft scrub Clorox because he said at night I would go, like I was having a hard time wheezing, and he knew what houses I was doing that with. And now we're going to fast forward to now. Obviously, the boys they don't even know what Clorox is, Lord forbid. And it's really funny. I still use gloves because I'm a kind of a germaphobe, but I will not taste any of the cleaners. I do not taste any of the cleaners. I do not taste the On Guard. Even if I did, I wouldn't mind it, but it's amazing. Just remember, whatever's touching your skin, your largest organ, is going and processing through all of those detox organs.
And it does matter, and over time it does matter. And so back to Lauren, who, was sharing about her daughter's respiratory issues and stuff. When she was able to start using Breathe, she got rid of all of those toxic chemicals. And she's like, I was killing my child and I didn't even realize it, because we don't know what we don't know. And, most of us are walking around like, oh, that's not a big deal, or that's not a big deal. But when you start adding all of those things together, it starts being a big deal. And things are different today than they were 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And so the struggle is real, and we get to pay attention. And I'm just going to say, in an economy where people, all the prices of things are going up, having the opportunity and knowing what to put together to have even more effective cleaning products, right, Sarah? Because you didn't give up being able to clean a house with, over the counter purchase things by making them all natural, right? I mean, you're not giving up anything. And in a lot of cases, I think they're even more effective and better. And so, all right, anybody else have anything that they'd like to add?
I have
Okay.
one more thing. This just
Okay.
happened last week with a client. So their dog kept getting sick. And I only now take on clients that will take on non-toxic cleaners. That's all I will take on. And she said, it's the funniest thing. She goes, she's not sick anymore. You guys, this is no joke. Her dog was getting sick. Her little Bichon was getting sick all the time and had a backward sneeze. And it's because of the wood floor cleaner her cleaner was using. And she was licking her paws, and she was constantly sick and had all these hot spots all over her. And now that's all I use is Abode because she has wood floor, and you can't use the On Guard cleaner on wood floors, but the Abode cleaner. And she said she has yet to have a hot spot and she is not sick all the time. So it's crazy.
Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? All right, you guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. This replay will be on YouTube, and you can also find us in Good Vibes, our VIP education group. And again, all week, or sorry, not all week, all month of April, we're going to be featuring different ways of cleaning, everything from, toxic relationships to emotions to our food. And of course, we started with our household. So I hope you guys were able to take something valuable away from here. And really, you guys just decide today that you're going to start with one thing, one area, and make that switch. Ditch it and switch it. Okay, we'll see you next time, you guys. Thanks.